I have a frog in my throat. This has been the weirdest hour in like a year. So I'm not even going to tell you, just personally, I'm going to be talking about the Lynette Hooker case and the biggest clue. And I uploaded everything, got everything ready for the video or the live with you. And I got this insane pounding headache. I don't get headaches very often. Like, y'all, have I ever come on and told you? Anyway, after the headache started, like, weird things are happening. Like, all of a sudden, something that's always been on my desk isn't here, which is my phone holder. And so I spent some time looking for that. I can't even talk hardly because my head hurts. And y'all, you know I'm not psychic, but something tells me that he choked the living air out of her. But that's just my theory. What are your theories in the Lynette Hooker case? You guys come in with me. Let's get talking about this. Maybe the more I talk about this, because I do have a lot of anger about what happened to Lynette. And now it's a murder investigation. This is just wild. And this part of what they're not able to find, we know what that is if you've been watching. And if you don't know, I'm about to share it all with you. This is the biggest piece of evidence that would suggest in a very strong way that this was a murder. So let's get into it, you guys. Hopefully the headache dissipates. Bear with me. I like almost have like a ooh vision going on. So I don't know what that is about. How's everyone doing? Welcome into my live audience. I really appreciate you. You're so amazing, as well as my amazing replay crew. Sprinkle in, throwing out all kinds of warm and cushy, wonderful things to my replay crew. All of you matter. You've been giving me a gold star on YouTube. Now, I know a lot of people are not really tuning in to the smaller channels, such as us, compared to like Ashley Banfield, who gets the GOAT, for making this case even available for us to know about. Because at this point, she's been deep diving. And I'm like glued. So I just have to give her the GOAT in this case because she's doing an amazing job. But you guys, I got to thinking about this. We know, and it's no big mystery to all of us that have been watching, her dive belt is missing. I'm not a sailor. I'm like, all right, well, how would that, I mean, that seems so little. How would that keep her down and all this? OMG, I did my research. I'm going to show you that. That's all he needed. Because, let me give you the quote that'll stick with you with a dive belt if you don't have it on proper. Straight to the bottom. It will take you, your dive belt, the dive belt, can drop you to the bottom like right now, and you can crash into rocks if it is slightly off. What it depends on is the buoyancy of the air in your own lungs. What if you don't have air in your lungs? So if we team that up, where does that take us? Do you feel Brian's going to get in that little dinghy, leave the Abaco Inn, and then, lack of better words, okay, I'm just going to say a little better because it'll come real off. I'm just going to say it. Dump a body, theoretically. He's not guilty yet. I'm pulling an Ashley Banfield. And then put it where people go? Or is he going to go to deep water to sink her, which would mean that everybody that has searched for Lynette appears to have focused this area, when on the other side of the anchorage, that the Soulmate is on is open sea. He has 9 hours. So everybody keeps saying, well, how far he went and how long would it take him to get there? OMG, I did my research. I have answers I have answers for how long it would take to kayak. We ain't talking no 9 hours. To kayak. OMG, you guys. Yes, I'm passionate about this case. I have not quit watching from the very beginning. So with that, I want to get into a little bit of how you guys are doing. Let's check on some of our beautiful friends and family here. Hi, Trisha Gavin. How are you doing? Nanette. Let me close this so I can see what you're saying. Saying prayers to St. Luke, the physician, a healing ministry. Mystery Diva, lights were 150 yards away, but Brian went the opposite direction through rough terrain and brush for 9 hours. Ashley Banfeld and I call bull crap. Oh, so I've got a secret. Oh, yeah. I got to thinking about Brian's story, how he put himself up there around some houses and so forth, and he tried to flag a guy down in the middle of the street. Was that actually him getting somewhere in wherever that is, in a little residential area that would have garbage cans, dumpsters? Did he half-truth it? Is he right that he went through brush and ramble and so forth, which was difficult terrain? And we're all, why would you leave? Like you've been paddling for 9 hours with one paddle, or you're just sitting on your ass and letting the dinghy blow, theoretically, hypothetically, which is all bullshit. But, okay, you see the boatyard, but you're like, no, I'm going to go off just a little bit. To me, you're going to come in on the backside of that boatyard to see if they have a dumpster. Because then you can get rid of a dry bag. You can get rid of a lot of things that you may need rid of after the fact. Maybe. But I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Oh, I'm so sorry, Linda Beatty. I did not know you lost your son. Well, hon, I'm so sorry to hear that. We send love to you. An hour, maybe, in my opinion, probably well off. Okay, let's get over here. And let's talk about this. So the biggest clue is her weight belt, which, no, she's not wearing it in this picture. I couldn't find one with Lynette wearing a weight belt. But she does do snorkeling as well as scuba diving. Now, I wanted to kind of talk about this for a minute. Listen to this.
They are always receptive and responsive, and they have search and all of that, and they're going to do a better job than I'm going to do, I think, except they're not as they're motivated, but not like I am, and I'm never leaving until I get that woman, and
I told y'all when we first started this and I did my first videos, when he said, I'm never leaving till I get that woman, it was like, oh yeah, okay, game on, Bri. Y'all, I gotta put my lotion on, and this is a new bottle, because I finally broke down and bought myself a new bottle from our shop. Check this out. I got my Jersey Girl lotion, all organic lotion, you guys, so you might want to check into it because it is absolutely luxurious. And I do send, it's our top seller. I send a lot of, oh my gosh, what is this? This is geranium. Okay. I love that smell. I just found out that's my new favorite. All right, so, Julie, welcome to our private eyes. You get the goat. You get the goat. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in and becoming a member. We appreciate that. You guys, that woman, now listen to what I hope this is the one that he talks about, the security camera that he suspected would be around the residential area. He's talking about Lubbers Cay, he almost went there and he couldn't quite make it to shore. Okay, he's blowing towards that island, but he can't make it to shore. How would you keep from making it to shore? Anyway, he's talking about Lubbers, and this is when he's going to blow past Lubbers, right? However, he talks about the security and seeing a few lights and houses. I'm wondering if that's where he ditched the dry bag. Did he come across Lubbers, run up on residential area, find a dumpster? There's only a few houses, or a trash can, and it's in the landfill. The dry bag's in the landfill. That's my thinking. I don't think you'd put Lynette there. I don't think that. I think the dive belts are missing. That's our biggest clue. He sunk her. This is so heartbreaking. Okay, here we go, you guys.
That's all there is to it. So I'm going to just start at one end of the two. You look on the charts, Elbow Cay is across from something called Lubbers Cay. And Lubbers Cay had a couple houses I tried to reach, but
couldn't get to it. I betcha he did. I betcha he went right to Lubbers Cay and found a place that would be collected for garbage. What are you thinking? Because somehow that dry bag has to disappear, and we don't need to risk a dry bag floating to the surface, and it hasn't. We're still missing the dry bag. But why even go into this whole scenario of seeing the properties and seeing it? And he even is going into too much detail about the scenario of what he didn't do at Lubbers. What he didn't do at Lubbers, he goes into more detail than when Lynette falls over. So that important part to me. And remember, he's not going to leave until he finds that woman. Okay, listen close.
That's all there is to it. So
that's all.
I'm going to just start at one end of the two. You look on the charts, Elbow Cay is across from something called Lubbers Cay. And Lubbers Cay had a couple houses I tried to reach, but the wind and the tides didn't let me, and I just kind of drifted past them about 1,000 yards away or 500 yards away.
Oh, come on. He could, at 500 yards away, he probably could have got out and walked. All right. So, I would love to know. I mean, they had the dogs all over Maggie, that dog, all over Lubbers Cay. But if it was just dumping off a dry bag into a garbage can at someone's house, the dogs wouldn't pick that up. I think he planned this for a long time. Remember, he according to Lynette, she told family, I think it was her mother, maybe Carly, I'm not sure, that he wished when they had this DV incident and Lynette left him, then she went back to him. She turned around and said that he said he wished he would have finished the job and tossed her overboard. And now we all know about the splash, right? The splash that happens at around 9:30 at night, right near Soulmate, if not off of Soulmate. That splash, could that have been Brian dropping Lynette down and then relocating her in the dinghy? Lynette also, they had 2 electrical motors for the dinghy. One of the electric motors is missing. Wouldn't the electric motor, or would it just be it would just be the battery? Maybe someone's Gauss of someone they knew. What? JG, hun? What? Hey, Jackie. I think he went to deeper water, weighed her down with the belt and the tank. We have both tanks on board. Okay, so if he did pick up a third tank, we don't know about it. But they had 2 tanks, and they're both on board. They're not missing a tank. That's how they knew that tank that they did find wasn't Brian's, is because they had both tanks. The dive belt is missing. That's the biggest clue. They were diving under the dock. I think so too, Linda. I'm suspicious of him 1,000%. I think he weighed her down with the belt and the motor. Allegedly, he bought an insurance policy on Lynette, Mystery Diva says. Ooh, that's wild. Okay, listen to what he said about the security at Lubbers.
Get security out and then call the cops,
Oh, wait.
He is across from something called Lubbers Cay. And Lubbers Cay had a couple houses I tried to reach, but the wind and the tides didn't let me. I just kind of drifted past them about 1,000 yards away or 500 yards away. And I was just going to break a window, get security out, and then call the cops, but...
I was just going to break a window out, get security out, call the cops. He already has an excuse. Like I said, he goes into way more detail about this little part than he even does about losing Lynette.
And I was just going to break a window, get security out, and then call the cops, but there's no infrastructure. There's no cops on that island. So, and security might just be a blink camera.
There's no security on that island. So security might just be a blink camera. I think he got rid of that dry bag on that island. He got rid of something, in my opinion. And I don't think it would be Lynette, but I do think it would be, because I think he sunk her at sea. I don't know, you guys. What do you think about that? Her poor baby lost their mom. She only had one daughter, right? Nanette says, I think he placed her body on one of the paddle boards to transport her to deeper water. I wondered if he used something to, wrap the body, and then that splashes the body being dropped overboard with a rope, like he just dropped it. There's a rope, and maybe it's tied the rope around the feet of it, and he just dinghies out of there. Would it pull the body without him even having to put the body in the dinghy? If he's going 8 miles an hour, is it going to... There's nothing there to snag on. There's not like big boulders and river rocks and twigs and trees and what have you. It's like white sand. So would he even need to put her body in the dinghy, or is that splash a wrapped up body on a rope so that you just hold the rope and the motor and you're like zzz, go out to sea, hook up the weights and let the rope go? He'd get her watch somewhere. Her watch, probably because it was dying of battery all the time. Her watch, probably he was like, hey, babe, what time is it? She's like, at the Abaco Inn, because they waited almost too close for comfort that night. I think he was like trying to stall until she would report that her watch battery had died, that there would be no telemetrics of anything on that watch. So he probably was like, Lynette, what time is it? She's like, why do you keep asking me that? You asked me that like 15 minutes ago, Bri. He's like, just wondering. And she's like, my watch is dead. Battery died again. He was like, oh, well, we better get going. It's getting late. All right, you guys, are you ready for something new? I am so happy about this. Remember how I don't like to call you guys armchair sleuths? You're my PIs, right? I got you this wonderful hat. It's in the shop if you want one. But here is your new uniform. If you're a private eye, right? Now, you don't have to be a member to buy one, of course. But look at this. True crime undercover agent. And my son was like, my son Noah, he goes, Mom, that's about the dumbest thing I ever saw. How can you be undercover if you're advertising it? I'm like, that's the point. That's the whole point. And he's like, that's dumb. I'm a different kind of private eye. I've got a blanket. I'm undercover on my couch. Anyway, so if you do want that, that's our latest, greatest. And I've also got, let me show you. Look at that. We have the hat. We've got the nice tumbler. I don't look good in a hat when my hair is down. I always kind of look like I'm in the 70s. No good. But yeah, that is in. Those are in. So they're not in the shop yet. They will be in the shop right before our deck party starts. All right. So let's see. How's my hair? Let's see what's got to go. Oh, and this is the reverse mirror one. Let's just do that. How's my hair? Nanette says, that's so cool. Love it. That's right. True crime undercover agent. Love it. Linda says, I want one. Also, my youngest son is named Noah. There you go. Aw, Mystery, thank you. I look really cute. I feel like I look like I'm like out of gas on the side of the road. And I'm like stranded in the hot sun. I don't know. Nikki says, again, please put in my opinion or alleged. We need to protect this amazing channel. That is so true. YouTube literally is telling us to make sure that we are protecting ourselves. And it's not that YouTube will take me down if you don't use in my opinion. I could get in trouble legally by other entities. So be careful. The blue hat looks good on you. Oh, that's right, y'all. This isn't blue. Okay, I know. This looks so blue. Let me just check this camera. You see, it's not blue. It's purple. I just have, my cameras are weird. Like that's purple. And this looks blue, but it's purple. The same color as the hat. All right, I don't know. Don't ask me. But it's as purple as it can get. And this is bright red. So, thank you. Linda, your son is Noah Storm. How interesting. Very cool. Marion says, I love it. All right, you guys, I want to get back over here. We want to talk about the biggest clue, big time. These are the results for how long does it take to kayak. All right, you know what a kayak is. A kayak, you're sitting in it, and you got an oar, a paddle. You have one paddle. You go this side, this side, this side, that side. Now, his dinghy is not any different than a kayak, really. Okay? How long does it take to kayak from the Abaco Inn, right? That's where they were. Now, this won't even be that long because remember, he's already made it back to Soulmate. 15 minutes of the journey is already done. But I gave him the benefit of a doubt. I'm going to kayak to Marsh Harbor from Abaco Inn. So I'm starting at White Sound on Elbow Cay to Marsh Harbor, covering 7 to 8 miles in a kayak. I really can't talk. It's like mercury crap. Takes 2.5 to 4 hours kayaking. How did it take him 9 with the wind at his back blowing him forward? Didn't happen. We know it didn't happen. Couldn't have happened. What are your thoughts? You really like the purple. Very cool. My horse loves purple, Nanette. Your horse? You look funny doing the kayak dance. Did I do something funny? That's good. That's the kayak dance. We just need music. I may have to make a short. I haven't made a short in years. She was an excellent swimmer. Yeah, Linda, I believe you. I believe you're right. All right, let's talk about dive weights, because I have a whole new understanding. Yes, dive weights help you descend, but their primary purpose is to keep you neutrally buoyant. They should not consistently pull you to the sea floor. Proper weighting allows you to float effortlessly in the water column using your breathing and a small amount of air in your buoyancy compensator. Now keep in mind, she wouldn't, if he did murk her, red rum, take her out, choke her out, she won't have any lung buoyancy. Then that's a completely different story. We've got body. Understand how dive weights work. Neutral buoyancy. Your goal is to be perfectly balanced. When properly weighted, you hover motionlessly in the water, neither sinking nor rising, by controlling your lung volume and BCD. If she ain't got no lung volume, listen to this. The danger of too much weight. Oh my gosh. I just got a comment that got posted. Let's give this person, no, we won't give them, but this is what they put on my theory about, the family being involved in the Nancy Guthrie case. And it popped up. It says, lady, you are delusional. I am giving you a thumbs down. Okay. Anyway, back, squirrel. Being overweighted causes you to sink uncontrollably. You will have to inflate your BCD with air to stay off the bottom, which creates an unstable air bubble in the jacket. That makes maintaining horizontal posture very difficult. You can test your weight at the surface before or after your dive. With an empty BCD and a normal breath held in, you should I really can't read. You should float with the water level at your eyes. When you exhale, you should sink, which means no air in the lungs would be the exhale, the final exhale, with no inhale, means she would sink like a rock. And that's what's missing, is the dive belt. Here, let's continue. All right, tips for better balance and control. If you find yourself sinking feet first, or feel bottom heavy, the issue might be where you are carrying your weight rather than how much you have. So in theory, wherever he puts that weight, if he puts the weight at the bottom of her feet, more there, she would have been like this. So that ain't going to be what he wants, because that's going to put her more at the surface. So did he double weight her around? So this would require wrapping the body in something. And she sells the Bimini covers, window covers. So she has material, most likely. He could have used a canvas, whatever it's called, I'm probably saying it wrong, Bimini canvas to roller. But my point being, she would have to be equally balanced weighted. So there would have to be something that weights down her feet and her head. Because if he just puts it in the middle, she's going to go concave. And so if you put equal weight there, that sinks her. So we can't just have the weights around, you know what I mean? There has to be more. And we have that missing engine. What else that's heavy is missing? We haven't been told that. But according to this, if you shift the weight, that's going to be how you are on the bottom heavy. Shift weight up, moving some weight from the waist belt to a higher position, such as your BCD trim pockets near the tank or weighted back plate, will balance your body horizontally. So this would mean he would need to put weight into her higher part of her body, like a weighted back plate. Or a weighted back plate. He would have put something. Hold on. We are expecting a very important delivery of an very expensive keyboard. And it's for my son who's a pianist. And so I have to give the password to the delivery driver in order for them to even leave the item, because it's mega expensive. So at the point that the guy, and he just texts me, it's 8 stops away. So within a few minutes, I will actually have to leave. Might be between alive. I don't know. We'll see. So, okay. Check this out. An overweighted diver is a disaster diver. Divers who wear too much weight often plunge straight to the bottom. I've seen overweighted divers crash onto the reef and drop onto divers who entered the water a few moments before. Throughout the dive, divers wearing too much weight often have buoyancy problems. They swim along not realizing they've descended until they kick something. By then the damage is already done. Scuba diving weight calculator. This blew my mind. How you have to be so freaking precise or you could have a problem. Look at this. You have to start with, so both Dan and Scuba Diving Magazine have helped articles about okay, so there you go. It talks about if you're diving with the most common scuba cylinder and 8-liter aluminum 80 in salt water, here's a quick estimate how much weight to use. So 10% of your body weight if wearing a full wetsuit. So she would not be. She would be wearing most likely a tarp, right? For a 3mm wetsuit, you only may need 5% of your body weight. This is so little. If you're wearing a dry suit, you may need 15%. Lynette weighed probably, if I had to guess, 135 pounds, maybe 140 at the top. She looked about 125 to 135 pounds. We're looking at like 30 pounds. That would sink her to the bottom with no air in her lungs. Oh, that's right. We have an anchor missing, right? An anchor, anything heavy. We have an anchor missing. We have an engine missing. So could that have been the two components that would level her out and sink her? And that, if he tied that on to test it at the boat, that could be the big splash. Because he could be testing to see after he wrapped her in. The only thing I could think of would be some sort of a tarp material that he could, ratchet strap around to conceal the body and then put the weights on those ratchet straps, and then push her overboard, see if she sinks. And if she does, go down, take the weights off, bring one up, then the other. Maybe you have ropes on both of the weights so that you can just pull them up, pull her up, unhook that, or you wouldn't even have to. You could just pull it up if you knew what you were doing, and then take her out to sea. So this will probably, in my humble opinion, I'm very fearful that this is highly likely a no-body homicide, which can be one, especially with what I have a feeling that they're finding out. Lynette, what the Coast Guard needs to check is how much air is in those tanks. I'm sure they have. They're not telling us, though. They were just filled days before Lynette went missing. So if one tank isn't full, I'm not sure he would need his own tank. If he did this, okay, let's walk through this. How long we got? We got 20 minutes. Okay. Let's just hypothetically say that they make it back to the boat and he knows she's leaving. He takes her life, and during the struggle of choking her out, she fires a flare. He finishes that. He wraps her in some sort of a tarp. Maybe he had it tucked away, being he'd thought about this for a couple of years. And the ratchet straps. A tarp and a ratchet strap. You could have that on board a boat and nobody's going to think nothing of it. So then you wrap her and you ratchet strap. Now you've got that extra anchor missing. You've got an engine missing. And you've got her dive belt missing. Her dive belt's going to keep her waist flat. Now you need her head and her feet down. So you anchor that up. You attach to the anchor. Makes sense, right? Because it's rope ready. And you sploosh. Yep, that sinks. Pull her back up, crank it up while you're on the boat. Now you're going to transfer that lead and pull that in and put her in the boat. And, you know, we're not talking heavy weight. We have an anchor and we have a little engine. We have Lynette, so it's like having a third person along in the dinghy. We know it can handle it. He would buzz away from all general life. He would buzz out to sea, roll her off, let that rope go, cut that rope maybe, whatever. She's weighted at the waist. We've got the anchor, we've got the engine, we've got the weight belt, 3 points. She's down there. Then he goes back. Now he has to get rid of the dry bag because he doesn't want that flashing around the body that'll like, oh, there's something green. Okay. So now he's got to get rid of the dry bag, get his story straight that he lost it, went over to Marsh Harbor. So he's got to go past Lubbers because he's going to come back in and regain his path. He's got 9 hours. He's going to regain his path. He's going to go to Lubbers. He's going to ditch the dry bag in garbage cans, something that's going to get hauled away so that it's not even in the area. He's then going to get back into his dinghy. He's going to go over to Marsh Harbor, where the boat place is, and come up with his story. I mean, if he's already risking his own engine and risking his own, what was the other thing? Anchor? That'd be tell on him right there if they found her. So would he have used that extra paddle to make a stiff board? I don't know. Thank you, the old gray goat. You said you thumbed up. That makes up for the other person that thumbed down. Another video. No. I don't think he put her in the dinghy. No, he could have just kept the weight off of her, took the weights off, and just pulled her along with the rope and never had to pull her in the dinghy. She was amazing, in your opinion? Do you mean dry bag? I think her daughter said 1:30, pretty close. All right. Sausage and Mash says maybe he took her down to make sure she stays there. Comes up again, and Splash would be him going down with her. Well, the splash was right at the boat, so she wasn't there. Nikki UK, yes, I was wondering if there is a missing spare rug or mast missing could have been used to wrap Lynette, in your opinion. That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering too. So you guys, I'm praying that they found something else. I tried to rack my brain. What else could they have seen? That, I mean, they didn't see it. They said that it was missing, and that it was that meant something. That Brian was FU'd, right? So I thought about what all could be missing that would point to a red rum. We already know that the flare gun is accounted for. There was only one flare missing. We only have an account of witnesses saying one flare, but there's several witnesses saying one flare was fired. I think that was Lynette trying to get help. Because if you're attacking someone, you're not going to fire a flare and have people flock to you. So it had to be Lynette. That was the moment he was choking her out, in my opinion, is she got to a flare. That's just the way I feel. But then, didn't they find her watch? Yep, her watch isn't missing. Her powder pink watch is there. But I do think he was like, what time is it, Lynette? She was like, 6 o'clock. Why, Bri? You've been asking me all day what time it is. Why are you asking me? You have a watch. You're driving me nuts. Then finally he was like, what time is it? She was like, battery's dead. He's like, let's go. Because then it wouldn't have connected, so that watch would have been useless. The only data it would have held in geometrics or biometrics would be anything before it died. The Coast Guard has been given evidence from the Bahamian police along with the dinghy. Yeah, I saw that. I wonder what the evidence was. You agree with the flare? Yeah, I think that was her fight. I think that's when she was passing away. I think that's time of death on the Soulmate, in my humble opinion. Within minutes of that, if not right when that was happening, the reason that flare went off horizontal or in an angle, where it wasn't straight up, but at an angle or horizontal, would be because he tackled her and she fired. And it went off cockeyed. I really believe that. Because if it went straight up, people would have responded. And the witnesses are all saying kind of horizontal more. And I'm thinking that's him. That's when he's like doing this, and then he has to take a minute to hit her arm. It makes me wonder. It makes me really, really wonder. All right, my lovelies. There's quite a few minutes here, but I just wanted to talk to you about something off of the subject of true crime for just a minute. I say prayers very much that the truth comes out for Lynette and that someday she is found. But if he did go out to the sea, which would make so much more sense for Brian, he's not. I wish I could say he's really dumb, but I don't think when it comes to this stuff, he's that dumb. I think he had enough time to plan it, and he knew they would look in those areas, those easy access areas. So I think he went the opposite direction, and that's why he ended up at Marsh Island, because he was trying to put as much. I always think about it like if someone comes up missing and the last person is suspicious, Go the opposite way than they're telling you, because they want you as far away from the body as possible. They're not going to be like, oh, and then this happened and lead you right to the place. I'll bet you he didn't even wear his watch that they have that tracked him going in circles. I think that was done on purpose. I think he ditched the body and had a different, what do you call it, a burner watch? A fake watch? Like, it works, it's a real watch, but nobody knows I have it. And that's going to go in the trash. That's my burner watch. That'll give me GPS back to the boat. But he goes out there, ditches Lynette in the deep sea, comes back in, does some, now I'll follow this watch, my other watch, because I've got really 3, not 2, but they'll think it's cool because I got 2. They'll be looking at both. They won't have nothing, right? All right, so you're all over the place. He probably wore his burner watch out to the Abaco so that it didn't even show when they came back to Soulmate. So then, all these circles and all this crap over at Marsh Harbor is just to make you look. Waste your time in the wrong area. A complete red herring. Remember, the man planned it for over 1.5 years if he's guilty. Praying for Lynette, Carly, and Darlene. So much so. And Darlene's, Lynette's dad as well. Thank you. Deflection intention. Yeah. Okay, Jennyville Lovely. Kathy says would make sense why only 1 flare was used when 2 were available. Yep. They took the whole soul boat and is guilty in my opinion. Oh, I need to take this. You guys, hold on just a minute. I'm so sorry. He has probably changed watches to throw the direction off. Why do people do these evil things? Because people are evil. Yes, don't know Dad's name. Me neither. All right, you guys. We're going to jump over. There'll be a few minutes in between. We won't wait till 4 o'clock. But there'll be a few minutes because I'm going to try to get this delivery. It's like he just called and said that this keyboard is within blocks of my house. So I want to get off here real quick so you don't have to listen to the dogs go nuts and me having to leave the screen and all that. I'll get off here now, but we're going to come right back in just a few minutes because this is the read I want to do. I want to know. I want to see. I want to know what are Brian's darkest secrets that Lynette took to the grave. What will we be? I think that'll be a very powerful answer. So if you would like to join me for that answer, I invite you to tag along and join us on the next live. It will be starting in just a few. I'm going to wait for that delivery so I can give the password and make sure it comes good. And yeah, that'll be interesting. So I hope you'll tune back in. Make sure, get yourself a snack, get comfortable, get your blanket, maybe put your true crown hat on. Oh yeah, let's do the kayak. This is the new dance Mama D made up. This is called the kayak. Put some music on it. Make a short out of it. It'll be hysterical. Look at Granny dance. All right, my lovelies. And after that, if you want to come back in, you can ask all the questions on the third live that you want answers to. With that being said, before the dogs go nuts and before that delivery truck gets here, Mama gonna go sign for a package. I love you to the moon and back. See you again very soon.
From the dust, I was born. To the dirt I shall return when my eyes are closed. In the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I am here to stay. Destiny will overcome. No, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise. From the darkness to the light, I feel alive. I'm a fire, burning bright, I'll never die. Like a phoenix